Three, two, one, say. And I'ma put us all on the map. Gone and I ain't looking back. I know they gon' feel me like this tank gon' eat. I promise, baby, you can bet the bank on me. Cause can't nobody tell me what I ain't gon' be no more. You thinking I'ma fall, don't be so sure. I wish somebody made guidelines on how to get up off the sideline. Hey, yo, welcome back to another episode of the Art Spot Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Curry III. Today, we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot of detailed things to talk about, a lot of things that I want to rap to you guys about. And also, it is very late. It is currently 11:27. These pods go up at 8 o'clock. That means I have approximately about 8 hours to get this pod up. Assumably that I get done with this at around 12 o'clock, which probably won't happen because it's me and we're literally just starting this at 11:27. Give us some grace if this episode is all over the place. Give us this grace if this episode is long, but usually when I think I'm going to have longer episodes, those are usually the shorter episodes. So let's hope that this is one of the shorter episodes. How are y'all doing? I'm Eric Curry III. If I didn't say it already, I'm your host for today. If you're watching this, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you can be notified every time we post a podcast. That's on YouTube. If you're listening to this if you are listening to this on your favorite podcast platform, please give me a 5-star and a review. You can just say that this is the greatest podcast that you have ever heard in your life, and that will suffice. All right, Eric, what are we talking about today? Talking about a couple things today. First thing that we're going to talk about today is I finally got around to Doechii's Tiny Desk. We're bumping Doechii all the way up. I finally got around to watching the Tiny Desk. I did. Then after we talk about that Tiny Desk, we of course have to talk about Jay-Z and how that case is unfolding. Then we're going to tap into Cooking with Kaya and that whole debacle and everything going on there. And then lastly, we're going to talk about how if Tyler, the Creator, was president, he will take podcast mics from you niggas. Well, from us niggas. From all of us. Yeah, great show today. Let's jump straight into it. Is there any announcements that I need to make before I start this pod? Let me think. I don't think so. I think we're good. Let's jump straight into it. First thing on the docket, Doechii's Tiny Desk was really good. I just got done watching it like 3 seconds ago. It's fresh on my mind. It was really good. Like really, really good. Now, I know Doechii is a dope performer, but I think during her tour, she didn't have a band. And usually when artists perform and they perform with no band, it's usually way different than when they perform with a band. The band can either add or take away from the artist. The band will always add to the performance, but it can add or take away from the main artist performing, right? Especially if they don't normally perform with the band. It can take away from their stage presence. It can make them a little more nervous because they don't know how like the whole inner thing is going to work. They don't know how like it's just a weird thing with artists who don't normally perform with bands. They perform with a band or perform with like a 3-piece or whatever the case may be, right? Doechii looked oddly comfortable. Now, again, this is Tiny Desk. This is a smaller venue. A lot of the things that other artists who are touring with bands have to worry about, they don't have to worry about that on Tiny Desk. Doechii doesn't have to worry about that. But still, I think it's still amazing how well everything sounded, how crisp the band was. It was all women, all black women. Oh, that was amazing. That was probably my favorite part. I'm not gonna lie. There was some fine ladies. That one singer that was listen, you baby, if you if you don't got the bass player, if you ain't got nothing, Doechii, if you ain't got something, I'm glad. No. All seriousness though. What she was able to do with that Tiny Desk was very impressive to me, and it was very great. And also, it's nice to see how artists perform in small spaces. I feel like you don't really see how good of a performer an artist is until they get into those really intimate performance spaces. Are you able to captivate an audience of 50? Are you able to captivate an audience of 10? If you're able to get 10 50, 100 people to be captivated and tuned into what you are doing, then that's how you know you can get 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 10,000, 20,000 people to be captivated in what you're doing. If you can hold down the small, the small spaces, right? You can tell that she didn't look at Tiny Desk as just, oh, this is a small space, this is a small venue that we are performing. She looked at it as an opportunity to take advantage of. She looked at it as, no, this is something that we're going to rehearse for, this is something that we're going to practice for, this is something that there's going to be sharp cuts and sharp transitions, and when I do, you do, and when they do, we all do. It was very cohesive and it was very together. I also appreciated the jazz aspects of the show. Like, Boom Bap is a super hip hoppy song, but the musicality of Boom Bap, right? That's what she started the Tiny Desk off with. The musicality of it is a very hip hop song. And her voice can be seen as like a trumpet or like a horn instrument, where her voice is like just very boom bap cap, boom bap rap, boom bap boom bap like that. Like, you can see it as that. But she took that aspect of her voice and put it into the music and made the music super jazzy, but super like, oh man, it was super dope. Like, whoever MD'd that, I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was her DJ. I don't know who was the music director for that, but kudos to them and props to them. The biggest takeaway I had from this, again, is preparation. Doechii is going to be one of, if not the best rappers in the game for a long time, because she prepares better than y'all. Her preparation for this moment was just better. It's better than a lot of people I've seen go on Tiny Desk. A lot of more established artists that have gone on Tiny Desk. Her preparation is just better than a lot of Tiny Desk performances that I've seen. For example, right? I love Rick Ross, but his Tiny Desk performance seemed very amateur for the level of star power that he is. For somebody like Doechii, who isn't just getting into the game, but she isn't Rick Ross level, hers seemed very sharp and very professional. It looked like she's been doing this for over 15, 20 years. And this is just routine for her. Like, her and her band just does Tiny Desk pop-ups all the time. That's how it felt watching it, right? But then again, you have to look at TDE as a label and really applaud them for their development of an artist. Doechii is like a diamond in a rough, and they saw that and they developed that. They put pressure on that, and now look, she's the diamond shining 4-time Grammy nominated artist off of a mixtape, which is crazy. And her album's dropping soon. I think her album's dropping the top of the year. Well, supposedly it's dropping at the top of the year, I believe, if I'm not wrong. It's supposed to be dropping in 2025, I believe. Which is, I'm excited for. I couldn't catch her. I didn't catch her on this Alligator Bites Never Heal tour run, but I am gonna catch her on her album run. And her album run is like, just the way her mixtape was, it didn't feel like a mixtape. It was a mixtape that didn't feel like a mixtape. It was like, it reminded me of like Friday Night Lights, like something that, if you call it a mixtape for whatever purpose of it now, I guess like back in the day it was for sampling purposes, but now I don't know what the purpose of calling it a mixtape. I don't even know how you differentiate a mixtape versus an LP versus an EP nowadays. I really don't know. The rules are skewed. The game is the game at this point. But I think someone like her, who is super dynamic as an artist, who's super dynamic as a performer, who can do the small spaces, who can do the big spaces, who can perform with a band, I feel like this should be a tour with the band. I feel like this proves that she deserves a big budget. Her last tour proved that she deserves a budget. This Tiny Desk proves that she deserves a budget with the band. She doesn't need a band, but the band helped tremendously. I am big on hip hop artists using bands. I love when a hip hop artist can take the 808 and the clap and all of that from a track and implement that implement that into live instrumentation. I feel like it's very beautiful, and I feel like it tells a whole different story from what I hear on record and what I hear performed. And also, sometimes I want to hear you perform the record, like I want to hear you perform the record live, but I don't want to hear like I don't want to hear it sound like I can just play that shit off of iTunes or off my Apple Music. I don't want to feel like I'm just pressing play, you singing over top of your track. I don't want to hear none of that. That's number one. But also, I don't want to feel like that all you did was just take your vocal out in Ableton and then you just have the track running without your vocals. I don't want it to feel like that either. I wanted to feel like a new experience. I want to enter a whole new world when I go to your show. You niggas aren't putting me into different worlds. I'm staying exactly where I'm at, listening to your songs. Doechii, with her 23-minute Tiny Desk, put me in a totally different dimension to where I am now looking, and I'm like, yo, I need to go back and listen to Alligator Bites Never Heals. I need to go back and listen to some of her old work. I need to go back and, you feel me? Just because she didn't waste that time. A lot of you people hop on Tiny Desk or platforms like Tiny Desk, any of the live performance platforms, and you guys waste time. Not waste time in the sense of like, oh, you wasted an opportunity or you wasted a chance to do X, Y, and Z, whatever the case may be, right? I'm not saying it like that, but you wasted time in the sense of like you had an amazing opportunity to showcase whatever skill, whatever music and musicality, whatever personality that you have, right? But you failed to do so. You didn't take advantage of the opportunity. People like Doechii, who are prepared, who take advantage of their opportunities, they're going to make it a long time in this business. And I cannot wait to see where she goes like that. And again, I'm already a huge Doechii fan. My mom knows I'm a huge Doechii fan. It's crazy because my dad and my mom sent me the Tiny Desk within the same day. Like my dad sent it to me like when it first dropped, then my mom sent it to me a little later, and when they was both like, yo, you need to watch this. Have you watched this? Da, da, da. And I knew something was up when my mom sent it to me because my mom doesn't like anything. So when my mom sent it to me, I knew it had to be really good, but that was great. Like Doechii is great. There's greatness written all over her, and the sky's the limit. I don't like that a lot of y'all niggas are haters though. A lot of y'all are haters, and y'all are not going to sit up here and admit that girl is great. That girl has greatness written all over her. That girl has star power written all over her. Y'all just be hating and y'all don't want to say that girl is great, but that girl got it. She has it. She has the star power. She has the charisma. She has the swag. She has the stage presence. She has the personality. She has the talent. She has the rapping ability. She has the singing ability. I didn't know she could sing like that. I knew she could sing, but when that live sing, that mic was on. Her mic was on, and hello, is this thing on? That's what she did. She said, is this thing on? That thing was on, and it shows. Again, the preparation shows her awareness of the situation and what the situation is, and her awareness of the moment. It shows her crowd control, shows her stage presence, shows. Shout out Doechii, shout out her band, shout out her DJ. That was an amazing Tiny Desk. That is up there for me when it comes to one of my favorite. When it comes to one of my favorite Tiny Desk, that is up there as one. Next thing on the docket, last episode of the podcast, we called it H to the uh-oh, because there was some Hove was dealing with some issues with legally. But now, next thing on the docket, the woman who accused Jay-Z and Diddy, this is going to be very important, and Diddy is the very important part in this. The woman who accused Jay-Z and Diddy of sexual assault acknowledges the inconsistencies in her story. Dun, dun, dun. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a person in the law field, political science field. I'm not there at all. And my knowledge in that field is very small. But if I was a betting man, I would bet this isn't too good for her or the lawyer. The lady, there's been multiple inconsistencies that has been pointed out in the story. I think the biggest inconsistency for me is the young lady reported to, I think she was on NBC. The young lady reported that her father came to pick her up, and she lived in, I think she lived in Rochester, which is 5 hours away from New York City. But her father doesn't remember coming to pick her up that night. And everybody's saying, well, I would assume that a father who's 13-year-old snuck out and went to this party, that the father would remember driving 5 hours to come pick up their teenage daughter from New York City in the middle of the night. I feel like that would be, not only would that be something that you remember, but that's a story that's told to the family. Like that's a family reunion. That is a Christmas story that's told to the children's children. Let me tell y'all how y'all mother went to New York and I had to drive 5 hours there and back to come get her. Like, you feel me? Like, I feel like that's a story that should be remembered. Also, she said that she spoke with musicians Benji Madden and his brother at the party. Benji Madden is from a band, the representative of the Maddens. I guess the Maddens is the name of the band. I don't know. I guess, but it's a band, right? And the representative of a band said that they were actually on tour in the Midwest during the VMAs in the 2000s. So that's another thing that doesn't check off. And again, a last pod where I talked about this, I think, what pod was this? What pod number was that? Oh, it was literally I'm very delirious right now. It was literally the last pod. The last pod where I talked about this, the last pod where I talked about this, we talked about how Hove was at Lotus. He was at a club in the city. Diddy was at a separate club from him at a separate party in the city. Now, we don't know what the after party looked like. We don't know, but I doubt that it looked any different from that. And then lastly, one of the biggest things to me is that the lady and the lawyer, the victim and the lawyer, are both saying that they don't know exactly where the location is that she was. This doesn't look great for the lawyer, right? Or the girl. And this isn't looking good, and Jay-Z knows it's not looking good, and he made a statement, and he says, this incident didn't happen, yet he filed it in court and doubled down in the press. True justice is coming. We fight from freedom, we fight from victory, not for victory. This was over before it began. This 1-800 lawyer doesn't realize it yet, but soon. This one, the 1-800 lawyer line kind of got me. I'm not gonna lie. That was really sad. This 1-800 lawyer, like, that was really, come on, like, I like it though. This 1-800 lawyer. I might have to put that on the t-shirt. 1-800 lawyer. Yes. Listen. Again, like I said last pod, I'm not gonna sit up here and say that she didn't get sexually assaulted. But like I said last pod, I do think that she misidentified who she was speaking of, which she admitted. She said that she misidentified Diddy and Jay-Z. Here's the problem, though, that nobody is talking about, but this is going to be the biggest problem out of everything, in my opinion. Again, I don't know how law works. I don't know how the court system works. I don't know how any of this works. So I might sound like the smartest man alive, or I might sound dumb as hell. It's up to you guys to tell me which one I sound like. We have to be honest with each other, open, honest, and transparent. That's what we have to be with each other right now. Listen, I don't think that this is a good thing because of the whole Diddy thing. And I feel like this is just giving his lawyer ammunition of like, well, you see, this lady who falsely accused us of doing this with this lawyer, how many other people, I don't know if any other accusers filed cases with this lawyer, but say that they did. They filed cases with what's this guy's name? What's this guy's name? I keep forgetting his name. His name is, dang, why do I keep forgetting his name? Buzbee. Tony Buzbee. I think his name's Tony Buzbee. But if whoever else filed a case with Buzbee, say that it was 10 other women who did, or there have 10 other, whatever the case may be, right, with Buzbee. Now the courts are going to look at that. Well, he lied about this with this one girl. Why wouldn't he lie about this other thing? And now that brings up reasonable doubt. And that's my biggest concern, that Diddy or Puff will, because I hate calling him Diddy now. Like, I hate calling him that because everybody calls him that, and it's like, I hate calling him that. Puff is going to have a very not easy time getting off, but it's not going to be as hard as it should be because of this one thing. Because this one thing can put into people's minds, well, if they were lying about X, Y, and Z, they could be lying about anything. Now, again, the Cassie tape is out. A whole bunch of other evidence is out based off of this. They got all the freak off tapes and things like that. So do I think this is going to affect much? Not really, but it could. And we've seen people support people who have done bad things before, openly have done bad things. There's evidence behind people who've done these bad things. We've seen people, juries, openly support these people before. Let's see how this plays out now. Do I think it's going to play out the same? No. Do I hope that it plays out the same? Hell no. I hope it plays out totally differently. But at the same time, I cannot sit up here and gloss over the very noticeable danger that could come from this case. Also, a lot of you niggas are weird. Let me say that. I feel like I say that on here a lot. A lot of y'all are weird. The fact that y'all want a man to be accused of sexually assaulting a woman that's weird to me. That you guys pray and hope that somebody is accused of sexually assaulting somebody. That's weird. That's how, and this is how I know that you guys have personal vendettas against these people, and y'all really don't care about the victims for real. Because if you really cared about the victim for real, we would keep it about the victim, and we would keep it about the lady who made the accusations. This quickly became less about the lady who made the accusations, and quickly it became about Jay-Z, who is a part of the freak-offs in the unidentified woman being Beyonce somehow, some way. You guys are weird. Y'all are weird. I was saying that y'all are weird when y'all kept bringing Hove up with the other Diddy stuff and all the other celebrities. I was saying y'all was weird then. I'm going to say y'all are weird now. Y'all are weird for doing that. That's weird. That's not normal. That's not a normal thing to do. That's not like, hey, let's hope that Jay-Z did some nasty stuff with a minor age girl so we can throw him under a bus and have a valid reason for not liking him. Listen, I understand like not liking a nigga's music. Not liking a nigga record, I understand that. To each his own, music is subjective. But to not like a person that you don't know because of God knows what reason, does that not seem a little awkward to y'all? That seemed a little awkward to me. And I'm not going to sit up here and say that I don't like somebody that I don't know. You niggas don't know these people. Y'all sitting up here and saying, I don't like them. I wish the death on them. I wish for their downfall. I wish this, that, and the third. Y'all are weird. Y'all are weird. Y'all are crazy. Y'all are crazy. Y'all need help. You guys need to figure out something. Y'all need a hobby. Y'all need something. Y'all need to figure out what's going on in your own lives. And yeah, let's figure that out. Let's figure out what's going on in your life, bud. And we can move on from there. But yeah, y'all need to stop being weird. Next thing on the docket, cooking with Kaya. Listen, the girlies hate cooking with Kaya. I'm not gonna lie, I think I'm in love with Shorty. I think I'm in love. She can cook. She got a song. She's marketable. She's fine. I think I'm ready to propose today, right now. Listen, if y'all don't know who Cooking with Kaya is, she's the new TikTok sensation. She has all the TikTok guys and gals in uproar right now for totally different reasons. The guys like her because hey, she do a little twerk a little bit, she can cook, she shake a little ass, she do a whole bunch of stuff, right? The girls hate her because the guys love her. She cook, she shake a little ass, the guys love her, girls hate her. There's a lot I want to talk about this young lady. First and foremost, I want to congratulate her on all of her success. That's the first thing I want to do. Congratulate you on all your success. This is huge. You're doing your thing. You're amazing. You're talented. Again, I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing, and I don't want this to sound like I don't love what you're doing. I'm just reporting on the news, baby. I hope you understand. I'm just reporting on the news. Listen. But a lot of girlies don't necessarily like her, which is weird to me because and it's surprisingly a lot of the girls who don't like her. Like a lot of people who claim that they're girls, they don't like this girl, which is crazy to me because I thought girls were supposed to be down for all of the girls, no matter what they do or how they do it. This doesn't seem very girlish to me. This seems very we listen but we judge. This is very we listen but we judge. And Kaya, I just want you to know that I don't judge over here, baby. I do not judge. Here's the thing I really wanted to talk about too. I really want to talk about this about her though. She allegedly, I don't know how true this is. But there's this streamer by the name of Doechii Frost. And he wanted to invite her on his stream. She told him, hey, my price is $4,000 to invite me on the stream. And he said, nope, I'm not paying that. However, she was on DDG stream and she was on Rakai's stream. Rakai, the guy who was on Kai's stream, Kai's son. Yeah. I wanted to talk about this. And this isn't specifically towards her. This is just to people who have been in this similar situation when they're popping and they immediately want to start like, oh, let me get the money, do appearances, do X, Y, and Z, right? A whole bunch of different stuff. How I get it. I understand that that's how you think of that's how you in your mind you think of capitalizing off of an opportunity, right? Because that's probably what you've been taught. How do I capitalize off an opportunity? Oh, you gotta make money off the opportunity, you gotta do this X, Y, and Z, right? But I want to highlight the many ways you can capitalize off an opportunity. For example, the girl Cooking with Kaya, she's popping right now. Hottest thing on TikTok. The market is flooded with girls who are doing the exact same thing as her. She damn near started a whole subgenre of TikTok, right? Cool, good for her. The problem becomes when people ask her, hey, do you want to come on stream? And she says a price, and now people are starting to be like, nah, I'm not paying that for a TikToker. Not saying that they should or shouldn't. Not saying that she should change her price or have a price or not. But I'm just thinking about you have to think about it, right? Sometimes the reward of doing something for free will lead into more money in the long run. Sometimes you have to do some shit for free to get to where you want to get to in the long run, for you to have a long-term sustainable career, right? Or whatever you want to call it. If you're really doing this for the love of the game, for the love of the plot, whatever the case may be, you just really like recording these videos and cooking or whatever the case may be, right? And people invite you on stream like, hey, can you cook? Can you X, Y, and Z? We can cook together, chat it up, whatever the case may be. And you're like, hey, all right, this is going to cost the price. Sometimes you get in the publicity of being on their stream and then people being like, oh, you know what? I don't know who this girl is, but I fuck with this girl. You know what? Let me go check out her other stuff. That will add up more than a quick little payday from that, or a quick little payday here and there, right? Your reputation that you get of being, oh, this person is a good person. This person was cool. They did this. They hopped on here. You going to every single platform that you can and doing anything that you can. Whoop, whoop, whoop. You doing all of that. Sometimes that adds up way more than a dollar amount. You know who understands this? Doechii and Kevin Hart. That's why they keep going on constant that stream. They understand that, hey, whenever I'm free, and if Kai wants me to go on his stream, I'm going to go, because me doing this for free, not only because they have a good time and it's enjoyable and they visibly have a good time, but also because, hey, if I can go on here and I can promote my clothing brand and I can promote my liquor, or I can promote whatever the case may be, the turn, like what I get from promotion and what I'm going to make from that is going to be way more than what I'm going to make by having somebody pay me. And also the payment thing can mess up the relationship. It can mess up the I'm trying to find a word. Damn. I'm just gonna go with relationship right now. The relationship you have with one person. The whole, hey, I want you on my stream. Ooh, I cost 4 bands. I'm not really trying to pay that. Can we negotiate? Nah, that's my number. Whoop. Now that can cause some friction between you and a potential person that you could have been a collab, and that could have been another audience you reach, right? I was taught this about the business, and one thing about just business in general that I've learned is there's no such thing as permanent enemies, just there's permanent interest. And as long as there's interest there, and as long as there's people that view you, and there's a demographic that I can reach, a new demographic that I can reach, let me see how I can attack this new demographic and how I can place myself in these positions. Again, this isn't like targeted towards her. I don't want her to feel targeted by this, but I'm just saying, like, we have to put it in perspective as artists and as creatives and as people who create and as people who eventually see themselves getting to the point where we get paid for appearances, get paid for pop-ups, get paid for X, Y, and Z, right? Get paid for our time. We have to think, like, when we first start blowing up, or we're just blowing up, sometimes it's not worth it being like, hey, let me put a price on this, or hey, let me put a price on that. And sometimes just the vibes of being there are more worth it than the actual payday, because what's going to come from you being there and come from that opportunity are more opportunities. And again, your network is your net worth. So if you mess up an opportunity because, oh, this isn't my number, this is my number, you can't meet that number, and they're like, you know what, I'm not even going to rock with Shawty no more. That's a network. That's a piece of a network that you missed out on, which means a piece of your net worth that, you know, you also missed out on. You feel me? So these are just things to think about. But she's young, she's new to this. These are all things that she can learn and that she will learn as time goes on. And yeah, last thing on the docket before we get on out of here, Tyler the Creator said that if he was president, first thing that he would do is take podcast mics away from you niggas. And listen, as a podcaster, I'm also on team take podcast mics away from a lot of people. The two things can be true at once. Duality of man. I have a podcast. I often talk on my podcast about various topics and things. But at the same time, I am aware enough of myself and my surroundings and what I say to know that when people talk about take podcast mics away from people, they are not talking about me. I know exactly who they talk about when they say take podcast mics away. And trust me, I want to ban them everywhere. I want to ban podcast mics everywhere. Just not mine, though. Just not mine. Because I feel like this as everybody does. Everybody feels like their show is important until we break down what is important about their show. There's a lot of shows that have the same basis. There's a lot of shows that talk about the same things. And there's a lot of shows with people who are just misinformed, who don't know anything about nothing. People who, I'm surprised, got their high school diploma, are people who I'm surprised passed their GED exam, who have podcast mics and who are talking. People who went to college for communications, who have podcast mics and are just spewing nonsense out of their mouths. Yes, do we need a band podcast mics? Hell yeah. However, the Art Supply Podcast is here to say thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of the Art Supply Podcast. I'm Eric Curry III, and I will give y'all my Dead or Alive. Now, if this is your first time watching, hello. If this is your last time watching, goodbye. But Dead or Alive is a segment on the podcast where me or the artist gets to choose other artists that we would like to work with that is dead or alive. Now, we can choose one artist, we can choose 100 artists. This is my podcast. I'm going to do whatever I want. Let me think. I'm going to choose Doechii because I just got done watching The Tiny Desk. I'm going to choose Lil Romeo because he just popped up in my mind. And I'm going to choose Ray J. Cause shout out to Ray J. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of the Art Spot Podcast. I've been your host, Eric Curry III. You can follow me on Instagram at Eric Curry III. That's ERICCURRYIII. You can follow the podcast at Art Spot Podcast. If you are listening to this on your favorite podcast platform, please give me a 5-star and a review. If you are listening on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you can be notified every time we post a podcast. Remember that artists never die. Remember that I love you. God loves you. Remember to do something that you love every single day. Do it well, do it with meaning, do it with purpose, do it with passion, do it with love. I will see y'all when I see y'all, boys. I'm out. Good pod, guys. Good pod.